It is December 11th, 2017. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and this is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Tonight we're talking about Monday Night Raw for December 11th, 2017. Got Justin LaBar here, and yeah, man. Oh, there we go. I'm like, what's that noise in the background? Justin, how's it going tonight, man?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. That was a hell of a Raw. So Matt Morgan hopefully will be coming along here in a little bit. Oh, how do we unpack this tonight? You know,
I don't know. It's the odd time of year. You have a SmackDown pay-per-view the Sunday. You have the Christmas shows coming up, which are always very very peculiar. You're so far away from Rumble still, so it's an odd time to be booking for WWE, as it is every year. And then you look at the landscape of what you have to work with. It's weird.
No, absolutely, man. So what do you make of how that main event ended? I mean, do you think it's going towards a triple threat?
I would think so. When everybody saw the match was announced earlier in the day that the winner would face Brock, you're like, okay, are they going to sacrifice Brock, or are they going to sacrifice Braun again? They're not surely going to give a one-on-one match with Kane. So this kind of makes sense because you'll be able to build, three legitimate forces. And it's a very unique match. We've never seen the three guys in the ring together all at once. And you'd figure, assuming the plans haven't changed that we think that we know, and that Brock is going to still go to Mania as champion, this is a way to protect Braun Strowman.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a way to do that. I mean, I didn't think there was any way Kane was winning this, but I think that's how they get to have it both ways. In terms of coming up with a finish that is satisfactory, has a clear winner, but at the same time doesn't hurt Braun, because I think Braun versus Brock still has a lot of life in it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Braun versus Brock was, it surprised all of us when it was done earlier in the fall that it was being done then. It's certainly a Mania caliber match, the way that Braun was being built. Braun, he didn't look bad, but obviously he didn't win. So it kind of, I think it left a lot of people, myself included, with a bad taste in the mouth of how they did that. So there's still a lot more money and a lot more mileage to be done between those two. The fact they're going back to it at Rumble, we wondered who was Brock going to fight. I threw out people, on my podcast and on my social media. I mean, I said, let's position and build a guy like a Cesaro. Let's stay away from if Braun's going to fight Brock again, I want to see Braun win. Well, Braun's not going to win this one at Rumble, at least as of now. That's what I'm saying, but he's not going to lose it. So, Raw 25's the week before. Taker's around. I still wonder if Braun and Taker is a thing. There's a lot of puzzle pieces to move around, but I don't hate the triple threat. I really don't, especially on a show where the number one attraction is the 30-man Rumble match.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that at that point becomes almost more of an afterthought,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say afterthought, but yeah, it doesn't have to anchor the whole show. You can have an 8-9 minute match of just, again, these three big guys just kind of canceling each other out. Suplex City on this guy, big boot here, big choke slam here. The quality of the pay-per-view won't be weighted on just that match. Obviously, it's going to come down to the winner of the Rumble.
Yeah, no, I think so. And man, although, part of me, I know they wouldn't do it, but man, I would love to see Kane really be a contender for such a thing. But I just don't see that happening. I don't think he's getting a real run with this. He's there to put over Braun, put over some younger guys.
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, man, like, I don't know. Compared to, I know you think Taker's got one match left in him, but Kane, I think, looks, like a young man compared to how Taker looked at WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, I mean, Kane's in, I guess we could say, better shape. Look, it's all about positioning. I know if I say, Cesaro against Brock, people are like, what are you talking about? But it's pro wrestling. It's entertainment. It's all about positioning and casting. You make somebody look really good for X amount of weeks, and you exploit all the pros and hide all the cons. You can make anybody, well, not anybody. I mean, you need certain things. And like, a guy like Cesaro, strength, size, everything. Kane, I mean, while we joke that Kane is running for mayor simultaneously and he's 40-something years old, he's still been he still is who he is. He still has a certain amount of respect. He still has a certain amount of a drawing power to people, even if it's in the, wave of nostalgia. So I don't hate this. I guess this is better. I'll put it this way. I would rather see Brock versus Braun versus Kane than you really trying to manufacture a Brock versus Finn or some of the other scenarios that we've heard of people that I just can't buy being in the ring with Brock.
Well, it's just because of the way they book them, right? I mean, I think to go against Brock Lesnar, you really have to build someone week in and week out, and consistently they don't do that with 90%, 95% of the talent. They don't book in a consistent fashion.
Well, while it's, consistent booking and positioning, like I said, there's also just some natural things you need to have. Like, I'll go back to, again, Cesaro, 6'5", pound for pound, one of the strongest guys. Just a phenomenal in-ring performer. I once did an interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin. When he was promoting the, his Broken Skull Challenge, and it was basically redneck CrossFit. And we talked about how Cesaro would be the number one guy from the roster. He'd love to see do it. A guy like Finn or some of the other people that we talk about, just, I have to be, sizest are just so small. It makes a problem to me. And also the fact that, again, like Finn Balor, who, I don't know what Finn's value is. The Demon has a greater value, but Finn himself. So it's just all positioning. It's all perception. Kane, he disappeared for a while. Since he's come back and been in this and been involved in things, he's been, protected pretty well. He's, got there's no more corporate Kane. He's got the the demonic, demon from hell kind of thing going. So again, for a second fiddle attraction at Royal Rumble, I can deal with this unique, never seen before triple threat.
Yeah, although let's back up a second. Redneck CrossFit, much better name for the show. How come they didn't go with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to maybe if Raj will let me, I have to dig up. It's years old that interview with Stone Cold, but it was a fun interview, and we were talking about Redneck CrossFit and Cesaro, and it was a good stuff.
Oh man! So Matt Morgan should be along. We're just getting him on here. Minor technical hiccups on our end. I'm getting him on, but he's making his way the only way he knows how.
Well, you figure the whole night of Raw was built around waiting for the big men to make their entrance, so it's kind of fitting that Matt's just.
It is kind of fitting. We're the warm up. We're the Miztourage, of this.
Oh, bite your tongue! You're the Miztourage.
I'm the Miztourage. That's like, do they do those terrible Facebook quizzes anymore? Which WWE superstar are you? Oh my God. So tonight. Oh, there he is. Speak of the big man, and the big man appears. Matt, sorry for the trouble in getting you that link.
Hey, before I begin, Raj, slow your roll. If you could text me, you could be on the show. Ooh, just totally stoosed them off. What's up, guys? Sorry about that. I am technology not savvy. Sorry.
No worries, man.
Matt coming out shooting right off the top on the boss. Jeez.
Yeah.
Eat it, Raj.
And tonight's not Lady Gaga night either. That's tomorrow that he's going to that. No excuse. No excuse. Good to see you, Matt. So we were talking about that main event first off tonight. What do you think of the ending and the idea that this could be a triple threat with Braun, Kane, and Brock at the Royal Rumble?
I love Glenn. Again, top 3 favorite wrestler of all time. It's not doing our boy any favors. He should have run off into the sunset and running away from Braun the way he did the other night on Raw a couple weeks back, and that should have been it for Glenn. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. I didn't like it. I tell you that much. And it should not be a triple threat. That's not doing Braun any favors. But then again, if Braun's not going over, thus that's the reason they probably have Kane in the 3-way. But they could have used somebody else to do that as well. A very physical match. They've done a remarkable job of continuing to showcase Braun and to put all these high, humongous, big man, just killer big man spots in this match and all of his matches and all of his segments that he's involved in, showing feats of strengths and hiding his weaknesses.
Yeah. So we open up tonight's show. Samoa Joe has the mic. They gave him quite a bit of time tonight in calling out Roman Reigns, setting up a night of really, the Shield versus Joe Bar in all its various configurations. What did you think of that promo, Matt? I mean, do you think they're doing a good job of continuing to build Joe as a dominant force?
Yes. I just don't like the fact that he was in the ring already. You know what I mean? They could have I don't give a crap what they spent on that stupid opening, which was lamer than lame anyway. Last week on Raw, we don't need that crap. We remember we watch every week. All right, we don't need to be reminded. People argue, well, it's a 3-hour show, and that's why. Well, then don't be 3 hours. Joe, if you're building somebody, you need the entrance, especially to kick off the show. You get that opening pop that you can't write for. You know what I mean? That Joe would have definitely have gotten, and it would have meant more when he was turning them in the middle of the ring when he was on the mic, because he still has his fans out there, and he did a remarkable job. A lot of people, when he was at TNA, I remember a lot of websites used to bury Joe, saying, "Oh, we can't stand Angry Joe when he yells to the microphone. We like calm Joe when he's talking quietly in that whisper voice." Screw that. Angry Joe, I'll pay money to watch, because he is a savage. Everything he does is real looking to me. I mean, he looks like he can kick somebody's ass more than I could once that bell rings. I believe everything he does. I believe everything he says. I believe he believes all of that. And that bass in his voice, again, you can't write for it. I'm glad he's finally doing his thing on his own. I talked to him about this, right about when he started hitting his stride. And I was like, congratulations, you're doing your thing. Keep it up. And, he goes, they're letting me go. They're letting me do my thing. They're letting me talk. And this was a while ago. So everything you see from Joe is pretty much coming out of just him. They're not really writing for him.
I thought it was a good build. I actually thought it was kind of lame that it took Roman so long to get to the ring.
When they're having a conversation, like a cup of coffee over it.
Yeah, I was like, what do you think? I don't know. You want to go? I don't know.
Well, and Glenn, it's good you brought that up, because I agree with what Matt said. I would rather see that entrance for Joe, the way the music is and everybody's chanting Joe and everything when he comes out. But I think it probably was a case of time to where, he cut such a good promo, just cutting his monologue. And then they did the whole thing where, like, Dean and Seth are going to go find Reigns. Then Reigns is there. Then Reigns is like, all right, well, I guess I'll go to the ring. So I think that they, for whatever reason, they felt that was, a critical point in the segment that they wanted to do that. I think that's probably why they, had him get to the ring before TV started, because they knew they were going to waste 2 minutes of Roman trying to find his way to the ring.
Joe kept in character. I mean, I'll give him that. But, I mean, how hard is that, Matt? I mean, cutting a promo is one thing. Throwing fists is another thing. Doing a stare down is another. But when you just have to stand there and be silent when the camera's on you, waiting for a guy, I mean, is it tough to keep that intensity up there?
He didn't, though.
Yeah.
He kept talking shit. I thought he kept talking good smack out there. Down, like WWE loves to ram that stuff home on what happened last week or the week before that. They got the stars saying it, apparently. No, but, like, he kept talking smack about what he did. He cost these guys a tag championships and blah, 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 blah. It is weird, and it starts to lose its luster after a while. But one thing, this is such a microscopic type of slip up, but it was something I noticed. He's calling him out. He's very confident, tons of bass in his voice. He wants to fight Roman Reigns. No question about it, right? So then why, when Roman's music hits, would he show that instant glimpse of fear? If you watch it again, with the ooh, and then got serious again.
I thought it was like he popped for a second. He was like, Roman Reigns, man, it was and the other thing, I mean, not to pile on with this, but Joe did this tonight. It was very sort of Paul Heyman, where Joe was doing, and Ambrose and Rollins last week, they would have won those titles if not for my interference. Fierce tag team, qualified opponents, like putting them over while at the same time being an antagonist, which I think is a fine line to walk.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but it's clear that, I mean, they're waiting this feud that these are, 3-on-3, top of their game, top heel faction, top face faction, going head to head, and we're going to probably see them do-si-do and change partners a couple more weeks because it's a while till the Rumble. Right. So I think we're going to get all 9 different configurations of these matches possible in the build up to that. Let's talk about Bayley and Mickie James versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. So Mandy Rose and Paige picked up a win tonight. And again, Paige got multiple segments. What did you think of this match, Justin?
It was all right. I'm a little thrown off by, as I said a few weeks ago, I feel like they're just adding depth to the women's division just to, get a Rumble, which if that's the case, that's fine. I look at this trio, this Absolution trio, and I I'm a very visual person, which I think I should be when critiquing, because it's a visual business, right? So I look at these, I look at Paige, and I look at Sonya Deville, and I look at Mandy Rose, and like, Paige has a standout kind of different, the goth look, right? The pale skin, dark hair. She has her thing. Sonya Deville, she got her. She has that fighter gimmick. She looks different. She fits. Mandy Rose, this beautiful runway blonde, she looks almost like too classically pretty. She doesn't fit when I hear her talk. When I close my eyes, listen to her talk, and I watch her walk, she's just doesn't fit in the trio. So I have a hard time just getting past that. So like, I'm happy to see Paige back, but I just have a hard time from the get go of like buying into it.
Matt, what'd you think of them giving the other girls more mic time tonight? Oh, we lost Matt for a sec. What'd you think of that, Justin? Oh, there we go.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Oh, you're muted. You're really, really low, Matt. Turn up. Your mic's really muted.
Can you hear me?
Barely. Now we're good.
I gotta take you guys off my microphone. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I think they need to be working on this on house shows. I don't think they should be talking on Raw just yet. I think silence says more than anything for these two right now.
Yeah. No, I think it's easier to look and just be intimidating. And with that tonight, I thought Mandy, it was just okay on the mic. But the problem is when you're out there with Paige, like, you're just going to look like the backup band at a certain point.
Going to be talking. It's like,
yeah.
If you've got a really technically savvy, like a Daniel Bryan type of wrestler, you don't have him come out and tag next to Kurt Angle. You know what I mean? If Kurt was still in his prime, let's say, you know what I mean? You get him away from him. Like me, they brought me up and put me with Big Show immediately. How stupid was that? Like, you know what I mean? You don't water down or take away from the new talent. You got to set them up for success. And if they're going to let this girl talk and be a promo, then you don't have her talk after Paige. She shouldn't be talking at all. Just let Paige do the work. That's all people want to see anyway. Let these two continue to grow and improve to where we want to see them talk. They've not made me want to see them talk because they talked immediately.
Yeah. I think it needs something more there. Matt, your audio is still a little quiet. We can hear you, but the chat's saying that's still a little low.
Tell the chat to blow.
Oh,
now.
Yeah. That was there. I think
now?
Is your mic I think it's fine. Raj just texted saying Matt.
Of course Raj did. Give me a mic, Raj. How about that?
You know what Raj is like? He's like the anonymous Raw GM, just sitting in the back, watching the podcast, contributing notes, making matches and segments.
Can you hear me? Seriously?
Yeah. No, now it's good.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, man. Hey, these things happen. I thought what was interesting about the women's match tonight is that we had, like 10 years. A 10-year evolution of the women's division in the ring at one time, going from Mickey to Paige to Bayley to Mandy. I thought that was kind of interesting. But I mean, could you think a year and a half ago, no one would have believed the idea that Mandy Rose would be holding her own against Bayley in a match on the main roster? I think that's the acceleration of this. That Mandy's got some catching up to do. I think she's got a ton of potential, but it's just not 100% there yet. They were also hyping up the women's division match in Abu Dhabi, showing that history-making match for the WWE, showing, cool. Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks. Awesome to see that that's happening. What did you think of Woken Matt Hardy this week, Mr. Matt Morgan?
I love it. I do like it. But there was something off with it, with the transition they were using.
Yeah.
I kept saying broken, with glass breaking in between every clip. That was kind of lame. But I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. I know it's better than what he was doing before, so I'll take it.
Justin, is it living up to all your hopes and dreams?
Well, I don't know if it's living up to all my hopes and dreams. I agree with what Matt said when they kept doing the transition of like the glass breaking and saying woken. After more than once or twice, it became odd. But I guess because they're trying to like brand woke, and not only for the people this is totally new to, but also to the people that know what this is referencing, but they can't use broken because of the intellectual property. I mean, I get it. I mean, I know why they did, but I agree with Matt. It did come off a little odd, but it's fine. You know, I mean, I talked about this at length on my audio podcast, Wrestling Reality, last week. I would love, keep this pre-tape thing going, wait, and don't put them in front of the live crowd until the Raw and Christmas. It's already weird that you're making the boys and everybody have to be at a TV live on Raw or live on Christmas. So, at least advertise that. Give me some reason to really want to tune in on December 25th on a Monday night. So I'm fine with it. I mean, people, it's there's still people that they're having to educate for the first time. Like, yeah, there's people that know what it is, but there's also a lot of people that are like, is Matt Hardy on drugs? Like, what's going on here?
We'll see, man. I think Matt looks better in this than Bray does. I think Bray just comes across as the same old, same old.
Well, and that's a serious concern. I mean, I encourage people to go back on our Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel here on Chair Shot Reality this past week, and I made a statement and I said, Bray Wyatt, while he's getting the relevancy rub right now because Matt Hardy is just such a hot topic, Bray Wyatt better be thinking about, okay, how can I capitalize off this? Because it's very possible that when this is all said and done, whether this is a 1 month thing or 2 month thing, woken Matt Hardy might do Bray Wyatt better than Bray Wyatt does Bray Wyatt, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I said it last week on the show here that Matt outdid him last week. But one of the things I liked that Bray said was, how he's waited for that. He's been waiting for him. And I like the narrative that the Matt Hardy is this vessel. It's not really who he was. He's a liar. He's a fraud. Like, that was pretty good, I thought. I thought that was well thought out, actually. And Bray claiming that this is the real Matt Hardy. You know what I mean? I thought that was pretty cool. A good story. It wasn't just them sitting there like I thought it would be, laughing at each other. You know what I mean? There was actually a little bit of narrative. Especially with Matt putting over how he knew Sister Abigail and all this other shit. It was pretty good. It was funny. It was good.
It actually, that to me, that seems like one of those improv games where nothing is ever no. It's always, yes, and, or not only that, but, where it's like, right. Sister Abigail. Yes. In fact, I knew Sister Abigail, and it just was building and building and building. I tweeted about this. I would think actually this would be better if Matt was against someone like Goldust or someone that could not be, you know what I mean? Not such a similar shtick. It's tough when you do two people doing stuff that's close to one another.
I don't know why. I like it so far. I just don't know where do you go with this other than the match. I don't know.
And then Bray Wyatt losing another feud.
He has to. I mean, right?
Yeah. That's the problem, man. Like, what's the point of it? Okay, so we're going to talk about the rest of Raw in a second, but first want to give some love to the first sponsor of this episode, SeatGeek. You've heard us talk about it. Mr. Rajgiri used SeatGeek. He's going to see Lady Gaga tomorrow night. He bought his tickets using SeatGeek. And let me tell you, if you buy tickets to sports, concerts, or the theater, or wrestling for that matter, you know that it can be complicated and confusing, but there's a better way with SeatGeek. It's the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to every type of live event, including the WWE. Whether you're searching for a last-minute deal, planning a night out, or need to find the perfect gift, SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, and that's fully guaranteed. I'm telling you, there's nothing like going to a live event and getting great seats. You've heard me talk about it before. I just got tickets using SeatGeek to a WWE live event coming up in Sacramento next year. I got right on the ramp. For me, that's the only way to do it. And I'm telling you that to have an app that just breaks it down, makes it easy, lets you know you're getting a great price, shows you exactly where your seats are, and guarantees it, you can't beat that for your ticket buying experience. So we've got a deal for our audience. If you use the promo code INC, you're going to get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. But here's what I want you to do. Go to the Apple App Store or the Android App Store. Go to the website, download the app, put it on your phone. I'm telling you, it's very easy. Search for an event near you. Maybe you want to go see a concert. Maybe you want to go to a theatrical event, sporting event, or a WWE event. And use SeatGeek to help you find the best seats at the best prices, fully guaranteed. Matt, do you go to a lot of live events? I know in your role as commissioner and your day job and your bodybuilding, do you find time to go out very often?
No, but I'm proud to announce that I'm going to go to my first NXT show this Thursday, and I'm taking my son. My wife is out of town for a business function, and so I'm taking my little man. I'm going to meet this buddy of mine named Nathan, his mom and his caretaker, Nicolette, and her son. We're all going to go watch the show together. I got them tickets for it, and it's going to be fun. And my buddy Nathan, I don't know if you guys have seen this on my Instagram. He's my buddy. He's terminally ill with a cancer. Tough kid, man. Holy crap. But loves himself some wrestling, loves himself some NXT. So this will be my first live event I've actually been to since I actually wrestled. It's kind of weird.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, man.
That's a long time.
No, definitely. And I think, a point that I find that's so great about the NXT events is I love that it's intimate and it's small, and you go there and you just get to be right up in the action. You get to interact with the wrestlers a lot more. I mean, it's a great experience in a small venue. And, what I was talking about a minute ago about going to these events and sitting on the ramp, that's what I hate when you go to a larger show and you don't know where your seats are going to be. That's the worst thing. And I've actually seen this happen before where people will get to the event and they think, maybe they brought a child with them or they brought friends with them. And they're like, oh, I thought we were on the ramp. I thought we were close right up against the ring. And I'm telling you with SeatGeek, I like that you know exactly where you're sitting. You know exactly where you're going to be and you get what you pay for. So glad to have them as a sponsor. So download the SeatGeek app. Enter the promo code INC to save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. And we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. So where's NXT going to be on Thursday, Matt? I
forget the name of the town. It's a city like Fort Pierce. I forget where, but somewhere here in Central Florida area where it's, I think, like 45-minute drive or something like that. I got to look it up. One of my friends, Drake, is one of the referees there. He's getting tickets. Yeah. Good, very good guy, man. Wow. Really nice guy,
I've
man.
Seen him at the events, never met him, but at all the NXT events I've gone to, because I mean, he's a former wrestler himself. He's got his own following of people that come out, and great interacting with people. Cool, man. Well, definitely let us know how that goes on Thursday. Let's talk about the cruiserweight backstage segment. So with Enzo and Drew Gulak, we'll talk about it after the show about what's going on with Rich Swann, but some shakeups on the cruiserweight side. They had to really pivot tonight and do the second chance fatal 4-way for Rich Swann's spot. Before that match, however, was Finn Balor versus Curtis Axel. Is this doing Finn Balor any favors, Matt?
Exactly what I was thinking would come up on the show tonight. When he was finished the match, he had won, and he was walking backwards up the rampway, right? He had just won.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, what is this kid thinking? Is he thinking like, what happened? I was a first Universal Champion, and the only guys I could beat are friggin' not mid-level to upper echelon stars, all right, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean? I kept thinking that to myself. I was like, I don't get it. I know supposedly the rumor is Vince doesn't see him as a top guy and all this other crap. So he's just got to fight through this right now. And the fans, the fans at home that go to these shows, go bananas. Go absolutely ape, you know what, anytime that dude comes out. Prove Vince wrong. He is a main event star. I don't care what anybody says. I know he's not 6'2", and this is a giant saying this, you know what I mean? Who I like to see other giants wrestle, guys that look like they can fight. I like to see those types of athletes wrestle, but Finn's a different breed for me. He's always in shape. He looks like an athlete. He takes it seriously, and he's good. He's really good and flawless in that friggin' ring, man. And he's a hell of a babyface. And you, the fans, you can change this, just like you did for Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? So I encourage you all, go bananas online, do something to stand up for this dude because he deserves it. He's paid his dues and then some.
What do you think? I'm sorry, Justin. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, does anybody else get the feeling that every week when they make the big declaration of how Finn was the first ever Universal Champion, I feel like translation, shut up, we gave him something.
I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What changed? What changed that they had him come in, beat Roman in the Fatal 4-Way for the contendership?
I don't know.
Go on to beat Seth at SummerSlam, and then nothing. No plan, no action.
I don't know if it was that initial promo when he came back, because that was weaker than weak. And I love the kid. I love him to death. Love watching him. He's one of my favorites, right? But he shit the bed on that first promo. And it's the only thing I can think of, and that's not even fair if that's what they're basing it on, by the way. But I don't know. I'm just throwing my hands up at this. I have no idea.
I think his biggest attraction is the demon alter ego, and that's probably one of the biggest downfalls. I mean, he can't. So if he's not going to be the demon every time, if they deem that they're going to do that for the big events, for the big payoffs and blow-offs and stuff like that,
you're not getting the best thing, right? You're waiting.
Yeah,
you're constantly waiting for the cooler version, right?
Right. It's like it's
okay.
I'm trying to find a fair comparison. Like I'm trying to think of like other alter egos. Like I guess it would be if you see Mankind, if you see Mankind for a while, then all of a sudden he's just Mick Foley. I don't know. Like it's just.
I got one. Clark Kent. If you watch a movie just about Clark Kent, you're like, when's he gonna be Superman?
Right.
I want to see this nerd.
Right. They kind of did. They kind of did it on. Good brother Morgan over here going nerd. It's kind of like what they did on purpose with Kane over the past couple of years, where like they would purposely water him down to be corporate Kane, to be a stooge, to be a yes man answering to Stephanie and Triple H, whatever, knowing that he was not the demon, he was not the the guy from hell, right? They played into that purposely. Here, it's like they're running into it accidentally. They don't know how to get out of it.
Poor Finn Balor. I just think he could do so much more. And there's no disrespect to Curtis Axel or Bo Dallas, but I just think Finn, I mean, it's ridiculous that he's with the Miz's backup band in a feud.
What the hell's Miz? Like I was just gonna say him and Miz would be great. I think it'd be great for his career, actually. Miz makes people. People say whatever they want about that dude. He's good, and he can make people now, actually. How about that sentence?
Well, the Marine Six, what's it take him 4 or 5 days tops to shoot one of these films? I mean,
does it really? Is that all?
No. It's like 3 weeks. But still, compared to a real movie, that's short. Yeah. So he'll be back, I'm sure, before
compared to a real movie.
You know what I'm talking about.
Hey, by the way, Glenn watches all of these.
I do watch all of them.
Every single WWE film he watches.
Yes, I've watched quite a few, but not all of them. That Bruce Lee one that just came out looks pretty good, but there's no wrestlers in that. But
I wouldn't watch a Marine movie if it was the in-flight movie and I was stuck next to a screaming infant.
Wait, you never saw the first one?
Is that horrible that I like the first one? Is that bad?
The first one is insanely great because it's so stupid and over the top. It's like an homage to 80s action films.
It's like a
Mel Brooks version of Die Hard. Is that what you're saying?
There's like 6 different times where John Cena is walking out of a building and it explodes behind him. Yeah, it's just like it's exploding behind him. It's so stupid that it's brilliant in its own way. The rest of the Marine films are just like basic cable, like direct-to-video, standard low-budget action movies. But the first one is a spectacle, and Robert Patrick is the villain. And he's like really over the top. The first one is worth watching.
They must be making money, right? If they keep doing them.
Yeah, because they cost nothing to produce. Because all these guys are under a contract. What's it CM Punk said when they offered it to him? He was like, "I'm going to make my guarantee regardless. I can do it sitting in a trailer or wrestling in Mexico. It's like it's all the same cash." So they have these guys, everyone under contract. They hire cheap actors, like the cheapest directors, cheapest everything.
Wait, hang on. You're saying they're not getting more money to shoot these?
What I'm saying is, that according to what CM Punk said in his interview with Colt Cabana, he said that it was just you're under contract for your guarantee for your services, and they can use your services to send you to a Comic-Con, to wrestle, to be in a movie, to do whatever. Wow. That's what he said.
That's a big damn difference to be in a movie for 3 weeks, 4, whatever it was.
Yeah. Versus, what would you rather do, Matt? Be on the road for a month or be
wrestle? No question about it. I'm telling you right now, the little bit of stuff I did, the little shit movies I've done, and the little tiny like guest star appearances I made on certain sitcoms and stuff took forever. I don't have the patience for it. We did like 3 straight days in sweltering heat in Dallas, Texas for this show called The Good Guys on Fox with really, really good show, actually. It's funny. It took us, like I said, like 4 or 5 days to shoot, like, I don't know, like nine scenes I think I was in, or something, like 5 scenes or something like that I was in. And I kept thinking to myself, there's no way I could do this for a career. There's no way. I don't have the patience.
But you're not having a bump, though. So
You would think that I would think that way. You would think I would think that way.
And believe me, 4 or 5 days, if you watch any of these direct-to-DVD films that they've been doing or direct-to-digital, you can tell that it was like, okay, one take, yeah, that was good enough. Let's just move on to the next setup. Get these things, cranked out. So the Miz will be back. I'm definitely after the holidays. You could show up at Christmas Raw for all we know. I mean, it's not going to be long until they're done with this thing. But yeah, Finn versus the Miz, man. I'm in. I'm totally in on that. And I hope that's what they're just running in place doing by having him face the Miztourage, because I think that feud will help pick Finn back up a bit.
We need Miz there to do it, though.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, the crowd, I mean, tonight, the crowd was trolling the crowd tonight, but we were talking about, what was it, last week or the week before, they play the music, and you're like, the Miz is there? And it's like, oh, no. Like,
yeah, they are trolling the crowd.
Yeah. So Seth Rollins versus Sheamus tonight. What'd you think of this one, Matt?
Solid match. They're not going to have they're never going to have below a B-plus match, ever.
Yeah.
They're just too damn good. All parties. Sheamus and Cesaro do not get enough credit. I know it's not. The company's not done them favors in the past, right? I still think Cesaro's a breakout single star. I don't know when he's going to finally do it or get the opportunity to continue to show us he can do that, I should say. But I don't know. I love watching these guys work. I know people may get sick of it. I know we on this show, we bag on them all the time for doing the whole crisscross formula with tag teams, right? Singles match this week. Next week, they flip-flop the guys. And then the next week, they'll do a six-man tag, but with the two teams in it. They always have these guys somehow being the common denominator of every single thing that they do, right? And we bag on them for it. But this is one I actually enjoy watching because the in-ring work is so damn good.
Justin, how about you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's pretty much echoing what Matt said. I mean, they're not going to get a bad match out of these guys. I was talking about it just before Matt came on at the very top of things, where it's all about positioning and how you perceive somebody. Like you could, if you took 5-6 weeks and really put loyalty towards presenting Cesaro and showing off how he's pound for pound one of the strongest guys and everything. Like I could buy a one-off show. A one-off pay-per-view with him versus a Lesnar. He's 6'5", he's big enough, it works. Sheamus,
he's
another guy.
6'5"? Wow.
Yeah, if you stand next to Cesaro, he's built kind of nice and lean, but he's agile. And then Sheamus is a guy who, Sheamus almost got so much good happened to him so early in his career.
Fast.
Yeah. I mean, like he beat John Cena after a month on the main roster, and he had so much happen in those early couple of years, and they did not have the depth. When he had years of Orton Cena, Triple H would pop up when he did. Right. And Sheamus was a new heel for them to use.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like you forget how good he can be because he's took a back seat. Now they have more of this depth, and they've had the NXT pipeline. But yeah, Sheamus doesn't get enough credit at all.
Guys, do they mention that he's a former world champion ever?
No,
I don't really hear it.
They don't.
They should be all over that because he's the weak. I hate to say this about him. He's a friend of mine, but he's the weakest of the four. As far as, in my opinion, as far as superstar, if I'm a paying fan, who I'm paying to see, who's perceived as the bigger star, he's in fourth place out of those four, in my opinion. And they should be doing things to build him up a little bit more and say that, especially for heavyweight champion, that's a serious deal. A multiple time world champion at that, right? Yeah. But Cesaro, I agree with you. I'm all subscribed into what you're saying as far as I definitely buy him versus Lesnar and a one-off. And even tonight for the Intercontinental Championship, right? Nobody was sitting there. We just watched Joe set up the next match, him versus Roman. No one in God's green earth was thinking that Cesaro was going to win this title tonight.
Yet they presented the match in such a way that I felt more robbed than usual of that, because that match, they went so toe-to-toe on that. If the ending to that had been an upset and Cesaro would have won, I absolutely would have believed it, and they would have demonstrated to me that he deserved it tonight. He was so good in that match. Roman as well. I mean, that was a great match. It was my favorite match of the night tonight.
Me too.
Yeah, it was so good.
Braun and Kane did their thing tonight too.
Yeah, it was good. But it's that ending, and even with the triple, what it's the equivalent of, and this, we'll just say this, about Raj, because Raj isn't here this week. Matt, it's like when we have a debate on the podcast and then Raj say, we'll just agree to disagree. And it's like, no, that is not an outcome. That is not an outcome.
Nope. That's not what we're out here to do. Yeah.
Somebody has to win. Now, you can't say, well, you're both right in your own way. I'll take that. But agree to disagree is like, why did we even have this discussion? There was no outcome to this whatsoever. Nothing changed.
I know I'm the newest guy here, so I shouldn't be second guessing the boss. But is there a restriction? Why can't Raj be on? Why can't we have 4 of us on debating? Why is it here?
And then we'll let the audience vote, and we'll make it interactive.
We should do it to where like the 4 of us start, and after 10 minutes, the audience votes who are they tired of hearing, and one of us gets booted off, like Survivor style.
Yeah. And hey, I'll get an early night on most Mondays. No,
I'll. Nobody's gonna vote against Matt. You run the show. Raj is the boss. I'll be the one out of here quickly.
So in between these really, really good matches tonight of Cesaro versus Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins versus Sheamus. By the way, Seth Rollins won that match. We had the second chance fatal 4-way with Tony Nese, Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, and Arya Daivari, with Cedric Alexander winning a spot. He's going to go up against Drew Gulak next week. And then the winner of that match is going to face Enzo for the Cruiserweight title. We'll touch upon that in a moment, but I want to turn this over to my man, Justin LaBar here, to give some love to the second sponsor of this episode. Justin?
Absolutely. Stamps.com. This has been one of my favorite things about joining the Wrestling podcast is learning about the wonderful feature that is Stamps.com. I live in Pittsburgh. Most of my family, they still live down in the Maryland, D.C. area. So I'm very much becoming a cyber shopper, worrying about having to, do postage and everything. And Stamps.com has been great because it's postage on demand. It's being able to go there. They do everything you could do at a crowded post office with people stressing in the holiday season, running errands. You can do it by going to Stamps.com. So it's something that I have started to use myself. Like I said, I stumbled upon it, and I'm happy I know about it now. I'm happy to give a plug to everybody and let you know about it. Stamps.com. They can even help you decide like the best class of mail. So if you got to figure out like, okay, what do I need to pay for? Like, when do I need it there? What have you? Like, I don't understand how postage works. It's nice to have it's nice having Stamps.com. They make it pretty easy for you. So Stamps.com, you can go on there. You can go on. There's offers. You can do a 4-week trial plus postage. They got a digital scale without long-term commitments. Like I said, avoid the craziness out there in the holiday season. Stamps.com. You go to the website. You can click the microphone on the top, and if you enter INC, you'll get a little deal there, courtesy of Wrestling Inc. So again, Stamps.com. If you're thinking about having to do anything online, check them out. Well worth it.
So, given what happened with Rich Swann in real life, and I guess we should talk about this news. Now it's fitting. Cedric Alexander won the Fatal 4-Way tonight. What's there really to say about this, Justin? Do you know the ins and outs of the whole story with Rich and what happened?
I don't. I probably know the same amount as everybody else that's read. I haven't. I don't know Rich personally. I don't. I know people that know him, but it's not the type of thing where I'm going to go prying. I don't know. If I guess what the police report says, it was some kind of a domestic dispute in the car and
kidnapping or holding someone against their will. But in the state of Florida, what everyone's pointing out. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. Go for it.
I don't know.
Did you not see the big news report I was in yesterday here locally?
Oh,
it was on your site. Hold on. It should have been on Wrestling Inc. today, but nonetheless, Fox 35 called me yesterday. They covered my election, blah, 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 blah. And they asked, if I knew Rich and all this other stuff and if I might speak up on WWE's behalf. And of course I would, because this is not WWE. They have nothing to do with this. This is somebody acting on their own, right? Mm-hmm. So WWE gets enough black eye. I owe nothing to them. I have no desire to go back whatsoever. So I have no reason to put them over. But they also don't deserve to be targeted, you know what I mean? And be the, the story that I saw that was around the corner, the whole scary wrestler, pizza, you know what I mean? And make it, even though it's a horrible story, to add more legs to it with this whole, WWE, here it is again, one of these wrestlers. And so it was my duty to step up, I felt, so I did. And one of the things I found, and this is, I'm just going to tell you the hearsay and the rumors. Okay. Be very clear about that. Here in Central Florida, what happened supposedly was she was critiquing his match, and homeboy got hot about it or something. They had this huge argument about it. So she saw him getting hot about it. It was like, all right, I'm getting out. She left. She got her car to leave. And I've heard 2 stories. I've heard where they were in the car together, and they ended up getting into a fight, and he ends up pulling her out of the car in some headlock, and the car was still in drive and going forward. Then I heard the other story, the opposite end of the spectrum, which was she was driving away, and he somehow got her to, stood in front of the car, did something like that to get her to stop, and dragged her out of the car with a headlock. Bottom line is, what was reported was the police report said he definitely had her in some type of headlock. And that was really it. I don't know what the imprisonment aspect of this was, though. I really don't.
In the state of Florida, my understanding, and this was per the Adam Rose case, is that if you're in a fight with someone and they try and grab the phone to call the police, or they try and leave, you try and take the phone out of their hands, you try and block the doorway to keep them from leaving, you're imprisoning them.
There you go.
And that's the reason they have that law, is so they can utilize it to prosecute more severe cases of domestic violence. So sometimes these things get thrown out, obviously. But just so everyone knows, the WWE has a zero tolerance policy that while these charges are pending, you will get your due process. But while that due process is happening, you are suspended. And then if you are found guilty, then you are released.
One of the things I did say, and I said exactly what you just said, they only ran a 1-minute snippet on it, though, and I should have had diarrhea of the mouth because I knew they'd only play certain things that I said, right? But one of the things I did say was what you just said, the zero tolerance policy, how more than ever this company does not play around at all. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a main event level talent or you're the guy at the bottom rung. They do not care. Nobody is everybody's fair game as far as them with the zero tolerance policy with something along this nature. And I even went into how, we're not these characters that you see on TV. Like, I was talking to someone who the interviewer had no clue about pro wrestling, right? No clue whatsoever. So I was very clear about what you see as entertainment. We're the complete opposite more times than not of who we really are on TV in this aggressive manner. Usually, if this was real, half of us wouldn't be doing it. You know, the Big Show, 7'2", 500 pounds, one of the sweetest people on the planet. You know what I mean? He's not. So many people, wrestlers are like that. And one of the things I also made clear is, like, they've also set up this ridiculous, in a good way, drug testing policy they have in place, which is second to none. The NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, all combined could not touch their drug policy in WWE. They couldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, as far as how incredible it is, and how the fact that they pick up the tab. If you do become an addict, and you do need rehab, you do need help, they reach out because they care about you at the end of the day. I said all of that. Of course, they weren't going to show it all, but I don't know. I just felt like I saw wrestling starting to get picked on here, and I had to step up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is that wrestling always is an easy target to get picked on for everything you said, Matt, about people think that these people are the characters at all times. They have that same rage at all hours of the day, and it's also, I mean, this is, anything with domestic's always bad, obviously, domestic violence, but this is even worse of a time considering all of the things that's going on right now in the entertainment industry of people and, with sexual harassment and all the things that are coming out. Like, right now, it's just, this is the worst. It's even worse now to be involved in those headlines. It's just not gonna, there's no favors of innocent until proven guilty is going to be done to you.
So we'll see what happens.
Yep. And today you are guilty and proven innocent now, unfortunately.
Yeah. So because we need a little levity, brighten this up, Matt, from any former talents because of that rehab policy, do you ever hear any guys talking about, man, I could just use 30 days away. I could just use a vacation. Like, maybe I've got a problem. I need to go somewhere. Get straight on this.
I got to be honest, not anymore. It's the older guys,
Yeah, that's true.
These guys today, they're very fortunate. They came in at a time where it was cleaned up.
Yeah.
Right? When I started, I didn't even know what pills were, let alone get hooked on them eventually, right? I had no idea. And I had my first injury, and I was walking around with a bottle of pills that they'd just gotten from the pharmacy for me. And like, back then, somebody could go get them for you back then. and I remember at OVW Arena, like, everybody lined up like I was the freaking Pied Piper because they could hear the pills jingling. And I was like, you guys can have these. I don't want them. What am I going to do with these? Just to fall asleep. And they're like, like it was crack cocaine or something. And so stupid of me. Eventually, a year later, I was like, let's see what this big deal is about. And boom, that addiction bug bit me for 5 straight years.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at the
no, I'm just
addiction. I'm laughing at I'm picturing you walking around like a 7-foot Pez dispenser.
That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like, dude. They're like fighting over it.
Okay, so to brighten this podcast further, backstage, Enzo and Nia, looks like the storyline continues. Where do you think this goes, Matt? Is it anywhere good?
Not for Enzo. Not for Enzo, it's not.
Justin, you think somehow Enzo breaks Nia's heart and she ends up just beating him up?
I mean, on the one hand, I'll say this, like, this kind of character stuff is sometimes what drives a little bit of extra like enthusiasm into, like I've said it before, you know, like the cruiserweights, again, great athletes, but you know, presenting them as 205 Live and inferior. So I mean, sometimes having character stuff like this does work. I do have a feeling there might be some kind of a rib here because, like, obviously it's very well documented. Like WWE even admitted it on their own sponsored network content, like that how much heat Enzo had and the boys not liking him. And then like Nia left TV for a week or two, and there was supposedly issues with her and creative. So I kind of feel like there's some kind of a rib here, like they're putting the two of them together as almost like a joke. I kind of feel like, I don't know, but.
I mean, you know, if they make Nia the butt of this joke, I think people are going to have a lot of issues. I don't think they're that dumb.
They've got big money in her coming up too.
Yeah, I think she looks adorable. Honestly, seeing her smiling, seeing the side of her. I mean,
and her dimples even.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Saying that, but I noticed.
Yeah. No, you do, because she's a different person that had presented her out there scowling, you know, walking to the ring looking all awkward. She looks like she's being herself. And if you watch her outside of the ring, she's incredibly charismatic.
She is.
I think this is a chance to let that shine, you know?
According to her theme music, she's not like most girls.
That's true. Okay, so Asuka. So we talked about Cesaro versus Roman Reigns and the amazing match that was. Asuka versus Alicia Fox didn't happen. Instead, we got Asuka having a showdown with Absolution 3-on-1, and then the women's locker room emptied out. Do you think it was a mistake, Matt, to push this to a resolution of some sort right now between Asuka and Paige being built up as the two most dominant forces in the women's division?
I had to use the bathroom during this. What happened after, like, when Paige and them came out? Did they jump her and then the rest of the locker room came out, or did they not touch and the locker room came out?
No, they jumped her. Asuka got some offense in against the three of them at first, and then they ganged up on her, and then the locker room came in.
So then what's your question?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's too soon. It's kind of the idea that I don't want to know. And I get that it's 3-on-1, but I think they still need to protect Asuka. And I think that the 3-on-1 even a little bit was kind of like, I don't know. I fear that they're going to pull the trigger on this sooner rather than later on a Paige Asuka showdown.
You're probably right. I'm excited to see it, though. I still want to see it. I still feel like I'm making up. It's like when fans could say, "Oh, how could you put this match on free TV?" Are you shitting me? I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll watch it for free. Back when those pay-per-views, you know, I never complained about that crap.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I didn't complain when it was like when they gave us like Big John Studd versus Andre the Giant on MSG. I didn't complain watching that. Say, why I have to wait till Mania? Nope. I was like, I'm getting this for free, and no one else is because I live in the East Coast.
So, Justin, who do you think goes over in that between Asuka and Paige?
Well, I mean, we haven't seen Asuka lose, so I mean, nothing against Paige, but I just
she cannot lose.
Yeah, I don't see how you make Asuka. I mean, again, you know, Rumble coming up, Rumble would naturally build to number one contender for women to Mania. I mean, like, and then let's not even this might make this podcast go a whole lot longer. Then we got the rumors of Rousey getting close to so. I don't see how you can ask. Like, I know,
isn't she signed? Isn't Rousey signed?
If she's not already, she's probably close to. I mean, she's been training for a while.
I'm being honest. I really thought she was, and I'm not gonna say that.
I mean, she like posted a video like her and Natty like training. So I mean, if it's not officially done, then it's probably close. But like you figure, like I know, I don't know. Asuka's been undefeated for so long. She looks legit. She comes off legit. I think the people are into her. I know not always Japanese stars or non-American stars. I mean, there's been obstacles in the past at WWE.
Yes. But
I feel like so far they've done right by her. So I know Asuka versus Rousey might not be the same marquee in WWE's mind as like Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. But
I see it the same way. Sadly, I see it the same way as far as WWE's way. Actually, I'd like to see Charlotte versus her too for some reason. I don't know.
Well, name value, I could totally get it from a business standpoint. I mean, I guess, but if you're looking at the booking wise, you have Ronda Rousey who's coming in with that baddest chick on the planet aura, and you have Asuka. You have Asuka who's undefeated, who's beating people in seconds. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see. It'll be here before we know it.
Here's the good news: we're talking about women's wrestling in an exciting manner too, though, right? That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Not as exciting. Jason Jordan backstage with Kurt Angle. I think, Jason Jordan's high point tonight was during that opening segment when Samoa Joe called him that
Called him
silly
a-
bastard.
Yes,
Silly
yeah.
bastard
I was gonna
Jason
say the
Jordan.
same thing. I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, I mean, okay. Heel turn. Tonight was a big step towards that. Dean Ambrose
Right.
versus Samoa Joe.
Right.
Samoa Joe won. Dean would have had it, but Jason interfered.
Right.
So we've set it up. Everyone hates Jason. This is the direction this is going.
Yeah.
Right? He's gonna have
Yes,
no friends on the roster. Kurt's
Right.
gonna have to punish him, and it's gonna set up their match.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Yeah. And after that, the number one contenders match. Oh, well, actually, before that, what's going on with Titus Worldwide? Dana Brooke, head of research and development, Gallows and Anderson calling them nerds. How did we not get a resolution to this tonight?
You can take that one.
No, I mean, but it was look, I actually give them credit for injecting that right before the main event. Like, we're going to have this piece of story development. That was new. I'm curious to see where it goes.
Good.
Yeah, it was different. But let's talk about that main event. Kane versus Braun Strowman. So they agreed to disagree and both got disqualified tonight. I thought Michael Cole slipped when they were coming to the ring. Did you guys notice this? He said, this time next week, we'll know who's facing Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, no, I did notice that.
As opposed to saying, in like 5 minutes, we're going to know who's facing him. No, this time next week.
No, I did catch that.
And yeah, they beat the crap out of each other. Braun got the better of him.
It was a great spot having, when Kane does the sit up and Braun sat up too. That the way that Kane sold that. I mean, I'm not like Matt. I mean, I'm a big fan of Kane, and I'm not really big on Kane backing up and backpedaling too much. But that was a pretty cool moment, though.
It was. I think he oversold it a little bit too much, but yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Good spots. I just thought they built it up so much as a match, reinforcing the ring, all of that. I don't know, the double count out, I thought was just kind of not as exciting of a finish. But
you're right, it wasn't because of that. You're right, it was. And those guys tore it down. I mean, seriously, for where Glenn's at, his career, he's about to be elected, I'm hoping. He's running a campaign, which is hard work, let me just tell you, from my perspective. And then be able to show up to a show and work. I couldn't even fathom that, I'll be honest. Because your mind is on so many other things. And pull off the match he just pulled off. And I just don't like the finish, though, that's all. Yeah,
no, I agree. So, all in all, Matt, what did you think of tonight's Raw?
Same old I say every week. C+.
Justin, how about you?
I'm not much of a teacher, so I won't give it a grade. But I mean, it's a weird time of year. I mean, you got so long. You're so long until Rumble, so you got the holidays coming up. I'm Braun's my biggest attraction. I look forward to watching Braun every week. Matt Hardy behind that. Both of them, Matt's intriguing to me. The Braun triple threat, maybe not the best thing if that's what it's going to be, but it protects Braun probably. So, I mean, I'm still convinced. Raw 25. I'll be in New York for that. It's the week before Rumble. I'm still convinced it's Braun versus Taker. I'm just convinced that's what it's going to be.
On the 25th of the anniversary show?
Yeah, well, they keep saying there's rumor of Taker. WWE keeps saying there's rumor of Taker showing up. Hence he's going to show up. I just feel like if Braun's not going to be in a title match, you need a match for him, and I don't think Taker's done. So, and he's working with Kane right now, so there's a transition.
Wait, do you think this will happen on the 25th anniversary show?
I think there could be a tease. Absolutely. Oh. I mean, I'll be sitting in the Manhattan Center. I'll be one of the 1,300 people in the Manhattan Center, and I think that's where Taker's going to show up. I think you'll see Austin and Rock in the bigger Barclays venue. I think you'll get Taker, who of course was on the first Raw in the Manhattan Center. I'm going to be there, and I'm thinking we're going to get something. Even if it's just a subtle tease, because obviously Rumble's the week later. And I'm convinced if Braun's not in the title match, Braun needs a big marquee match, and Braun versus Taker, man, that's it.
5 weeks from tonight, 6 Raws between now and the Royal Rumble. Man, that's a ways away. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of podcasts between them.
A lot of podcasts. Matt, so we talked about Rich Swann. I think that's all we got for this week. Matt, what do you want to plug before we take it home?
I'm good. Nothing.
All right. That's what I like to hear. Justin, where can people find you on the interwebs?
At Justin LaBar. Follow me on Twitter. And, of course, I'm doing Writing on Wrestling Inc. I have my Chair Shot reality videos on Wrestling Inc. And I also have my own audio podcast, Wrestling Reality, which you can subscribe and download on iTunes and all the other good audio platforms.
Excellent, everyone. Well, he is Justin LaBar, Mr. Matt Morgan at BP Matt Morgan on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Glenn Rubenstein at Glenn Rubenstein on Twitter. And we will see you back here Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern, to talk about SmackDown on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Until next time, take care, folks.
Eat it, Raj.